Welcome everyone. I'm now calling this meeting to order. Please stand with us. Be led in prayer by Alderman Gallagher. Please remain standing for the pledge of allegiance after that, led by Alderman Payne.
Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. Thank you for the ability to meet here tonight, Lord. We thank you for the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ, who occurred during this time, Lord. We ask that you would be with the families who are struggling, Lord, who are without loved ones. Lord, and I ask for protection over sick family members that are out there today, Lord. We ask you to keep your hand over our city. In Jesus' name,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just want to remind everybody before we get going, looks like everybody's spread out pretty well, but let's be safe. You know, obviously with this time of year, as it is with any virus or any infectious disease, this is a time that a virus thrives on this. The darkness, the weather, everybody, having to go back inside again. So I'm just encouraging everyone, to be smart, just use common sense, spread out. When you're leaving the building, please don't all go together. Everybody just spread out and just be safe. First on the agenda is our approval of minutes for our December 1st, 2020 meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of December 1st, 2020 with any additions, conditions, or corrections.
We have a motion from Alderman Payne, second Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a request by Entergy for a utility easement on both the north and south side of Starlanding Road for the extension of overhead power lines. Ms. Whitney Cook.
Yes, sir. My office was approached in August of this year by a consultant for Entergy. They're looking at extending their overhead power lines down Starlanding Road. Initially, they came to us on just the north side, and if you'll see on the map that's up on the screen now, it would encroach on where the future fire station is set to go, so we did ask them to go to the south side. Once we got it located on the south side, we did find that one of the overhead power poles they were proposing would also interfere with an entrance into our new water plant that would be under construction. We did ask them to shift that. They did that as well. So once those changes were made, they have come to the city with an offer of $4,000 in consideration, appraised value for a 20-foot wide easement in the locations you see right here on both city properties. We've looked at it. It does meet our needs. It doesn't encroach any further on any development we have coming. Our recommendation is to approve it this time.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion.
We have a motion from Alderman Payne, second from Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion?
So is this the only place in the city where they're going to extend lines?
No, they have a lot of line expansion under discussion right now. This one, they know, I guess they're a little further along in this area. You've got a future widening project at some point in time for Starlanding. They're trying to get their utilities in line for that. This is one of the areas that they knew for sure they were ready to acquire their easements, but there is expansion all over the city.
Have we heard anything on the swing?
I know they've been looking at just different alternatives, just trying to connectivity from where the substations are over there, but nothing's set in stone. I think they're looking at different alternatives and talking to homeowners just to see where the impacts are. But I don't think nothing's been set in stone. I haven't heard anything. They've talked to us quite a bit. Swing's obviously been looked at, but there's nothing concrete with it.
There, obviously, with the growth of the southeastern part of our city, for there to be adequate power, there's going to have to be some changes made. So, like what you said, we have been in multiple meetings with Entergy, and we're trying to, help the city get this accomplished with power in the most aesthetically pleasing way possible, and also the way that it doesn't disrupt, private property owners. And it can be challenging, and there are going to be some challenging things in the near future, but. That one that you're talking about, I can't remember if that was that Entergy? Are we sure that was it? Did we ever find out it was Entergy? Okay. Yeah, and as Nick told us, they do have, when they have an easement, they don't, generally contact us for permission. They can go do what they got to do. So So as a city, we don't have the authority, or we don't know about everything that they do. But please, just like you did that night, if you have someone that contacts you is concerned about working there near their property, we can always find out and verify who it is. And they've been very receptive to our request to make sure that if there's any property that's disrupted, that they go back and that they make it right. Whether they mess the yard up with whatever, the grass or a fence or anything like that. So always make us aware, because they like I said, they've been very receptive to make it right. And this one, Whitney, I did have a question about this one too. So we know that the fire station is on the north side.
Yes, sir.
And then the adjustments with utilities on the south side. So you're 100% confident that these poles are not going to interfere with, because we got a lot of stuff we're going to be doing in that area, not only with the fire station, but also the utilities. So are you're comfortable with where the poles will be on the
Yes,
south
sir.
side?
I got with both Civil Link and with the utility department, got their footprints of where the improvements were going to be done, got with the fire department, got their footprints, did a layover of the overhead power lines, did the adjustments needed, so we didn't interfere with either one of those. Make sure we were all on the same page, everybody's fine. So with this design right here, it does not encroach on any of our new development.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Any other questions? Okay, do we have a motion already? Okay, so if there's no other discussion, roll call, please.
Alderman Rhodes. Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Allen.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Wright.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is budget amendment for our current budget. Chris Wilson.
So this budget takes into consideration two different items. One being, the first is that the bond issuance and prior transfer of cash balance from utility fund to fund the automatic meter project utility fund. And the second part is the unrestricted cash balance forward for the truck and sanitation.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt a resolution of the Mayor of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Southaven, Mississippi, to amend the 2020 budget.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, it is 2021 budget.
2021.
So we have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Rhodes. Yes. Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Yes. Alderman Rhodes.
Yes.
The motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for a sole source purchase in our utilities department. Mr. McManley.
Very happy to be here, so I'm putting on the department tonight. It's just a resolution to purchase 2 Trimble connection units in a total amount of $27,108.38 from navigation electronic scheme. The units will be used for the mapping of water lines, manholes, and meters. They are the navigation electronic scheme. The sole source letter is the only entity that is allowed to sell and or produce the Trimble GPS units as required in the United States.
Make the motion.
Second. We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Rhodes. Yes. Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a fee in lieu of tax agreement with Spectra Laboratories.
This is similar to the agreement we did with Medline previously. We did with Medline, the agreement with Spectra. Spectra, as part of the agreement, will provide an investment in the project of no less than $25 million. The third anniversary start of commercial operations, along with no fewer than 280 new jobs. With the third anniversary, as part of this commitment, Spectra will be granted a one-third, granted the fee in lieu, it's more into the taxes, and also if MTA revokes the healthcare industry with Spectra, or Spectra fails to create the amount of jobs they have, simply sliding scale 10%, fee in lieu will be suspended, and then a 70% or 80% of the jobs are created, not the investment, or and the investment, they'll be reduced. Fee in lieu will be reduced on a pro rata basis as a working pilot. They fulfill 90% of their job agreement, and or investment ability grant of pool be included. So Southaven County, the board of supervisors will be considering this at the meeting on Monday, we were going to approve. So tonight, my thought is to have an NDA, we're doing that for Southaven County. So tonight, my thought is having a approval based upon, or contingent upon approval of NDA and the Southaven County supervisors. That was needs to be changed by their board or NDA will come back next week. But tonight, authorization to approve the style agreement as presented and to be reflected in the minutes, contingent upon approval by supervisors and NDA.
That motion, does it need to include all the mayors?
Yeah, I think you should get approval contingent upon the amount.
A motion by Alderman Flores, a second by Alderman Gallagher. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Rhodes.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a contract with Argo Entertainment.
This is the very same contract, very similar contract we've done with Argo in the past, but it's July 4th agreement, or July 4th city event. Argo will be responsible for all the entertainment, fireworks, musical setup, promotions, and then the city, Service Authority, Mississippi Code 17.3.1 will pay Argo $22,500 for these services. I think they've done a total less than a good job in the past. I think they do other cities in the county as well. So tonight, authorization for the mayor to sign Argo and for the invoice of $22,500 go ahead and
So moved.
Second. We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for the surplus of Major Tim Allred's firearm. Major Allred is retiring on December 31st of this year. Before we get into that, I'd just like to say a quick thing. I know we'll get a chance to talk to Major Allred before then, but Major Allred started work with the City of Southaven on May 16th, 1989. So he's been with us many, many years and held many positions in our police department and come all the way up to the role of major. That's at the top. So he has a very important position with our city and has spent many years with us. So I just want to say tonight, what I'll be saying to him soon, that we appreciate all the sacrifices that Tim has given us. There have been many, many days. I'm sure that that he saw things that are not pleasant. He's seen a lot of tough things, put himself in some dangerous situations. He's had many holidays where he wasn't with his family because he was serving the city. So I just I want to say thanks to Tim for the many years of service. We greatly appreciate that, and I know Chief's with us tonight. I know Chief's going to miss him. We're all going to miss him. But we thank Major Allred for his service, and that's what this is about tonight. Just a little small gesture for us to, give him his firearm. So I would recommend, if y'all will, someone make a motion to do that.
Mayor, make that motion. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Rhodes.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Hicks.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for final Conair's tax exemption.
This was previously approved by the board for Conair tax exemption, 4-year personal property tax exemption in amount of $1,784,786. At this time, the City Department of Revenue has also approved this tonight, authorization for the mayor to sign the resolution of final Conair tax exemption.
Second. We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Rhodes.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Hicks.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for liens.
This is just authorize the liens we filed by the City of Southaven Planning Department for those properties that were cut in accordance with Code 21-11. assessments in the fall of next year.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion among the board? Hearing none, is there anyone in the audience that has a financial interest in any of the properties to which these liens will be attached who would like to speak? Or seeing none, roll call please.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a bid award for our truck-mounted sewer cleaning machine.
This item is previously authorized for bids, is for bidding. Since that time bids were received, the low bid is the amount of $126,800 from Mid-South Septic Services. And have the mayor and or designee taking all actions to effectuate the intent of the bid.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Second. We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks. Yes. Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. All right, next on our agenda, just as a follow-up to our last discussions at the last two meetings, we made a decision to make a small adjustment to how we operate our citizens agenda. We will still have a citizens agenda. However, we're going to actually place that as an item on the agenda. That way the board can be prepared. It just works more efficiently like that. You know, 9 out of 10 things that a citizen wants to speak about, usually we can resolve that. If they just contact the city, we solve a lot of problems in a hurry. So we think it's the best way to be efficient with everyone's time. When we have a citizens agenda without knowing the topic, we've experienced situations where the meeting's really not useful, you know, because it's the first time that it's brought to the attention, and we find ourselves going back and in some cases, you know, recanting public discussions that happened, you know, from many meetings ago. And it's just to be real frank, it's just not efficient for the city, and it's not really fair, you know, for the city. So I think this is a better way to do it. That way it helps us be prepared, it helps us to manage the time better, helps us to answer questions quicker, and it also preserves what I love is giving the citizens a chance to speak. I love that. I don't ever want to take that away. Public board meetings, as our city attorney has reminded us, they're not public hearings all the time. There's certain segments of that by state law or public hearings, but they're a time for the city to do business. They're not hearings, so we want to be careful how we do that, while yet again still preserving the right and the chance for citizens to be able to speak. So with that being said, I just want to update everyone that we have made a change to how we're doing it, but we have a citizen that registered to speak tonight, and it's Mr. Eric Trezette regarding our parking ordinance. So Mr. Trezette, would you please come forward at this time? Is Eric Trezette with us tonight? Yeah, I guess he decided not to come. But just to update the board, hopefully he'll come at the next meeting. Basically, he did contact my office. Code enforcement was just enforcing the codes, and it was a parking issue that our people did the right thing by our ordinance, and so there's nothing that I have the authority to change. So that's why we invited him to come speak to you. But anyway, obviously didn't show up, so at the next meeting, just you'll know if he comes at that time. And there was nobody else that after that's registered. So we'll move on. Planning agenda is next. Ms. Whitney Cook.
I guess our first application is Pinnacle Development and Construction to rezone approximately 29 acres on the north side of Starlanding Road, west of Marshall Louise Drive, from ag to PUD. So let's do the zoning hearing. Okay. Do we need how do you want to handle that?
Let's do the zone. We'll do the zoning hearing first. So with me just saying that, we're going to have a chance to do a hearing. So Would somebody make a motion to open a public hearing regarding a zoning change item? We got a motion from Alderman Flores, second from Alderman Kelly. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries. So the zoning hearing is now open. So do you want to run down it, and then we'll allow anyone in the audience that has a question. The hearing is open, so anyone that has a question, please stand up, and we'll acknowledge you and hear you.
As I stated, it's really 28.5 acres. It's on the north side of Starlanding Road, west of Marshall Louise Drive. You'll see in the highlighted areas on the aerial right there, it's several pieces of property. They run really deep. They're very narrow, so it took a combination of all of them to combine to make this development. One of the things we have to ensure via the comprehensive plan is that whatever comes into play here is considered low-density residential. So it puts under 2.2 dwelling units per acre. That's a little less than a half an acre for each one to comply. That's minus open spaces. What the applicant has designed it for are 20,000 plus square foot lots, which is going to meet that low-density residential. There's 29 lots. There's a single access off Starlanding Road with a secondary point of access which will carry off of Wilburn all the way to Starlanding. It is being proposed in 2 phases. It does have an open space, wet pond for aesthetics on the interior. It does have detention along Starlanding Road. There's an additional pond and open space in the second phase. They have set the minimums for the heated square footage at 2,300. However, after speaking to the developer or the applicant, the plans he intends to build here are between 2,500 and 2,600 square foot minimums. We've submitted the street names to the Emergency Services Department for concurrence. They have agreed to the street names on this. And again, we needed to ensure that not only it was in compliance with the comprehensive plan, but also with the surrounding area. To the north of it, you have Lakes of Nicholas, which is a mixture of high density and low density housing. What is directly adjacent to this one is your low density housing. They're 20,000 to 30,000 square feet. So it does comply with the surrounding neighborhoods. And with both of those items in mind, we recommended approval to the Planning Commission, and it was voted unanimously in favor of by the Planning Commission.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve item number 1 on the planning agenda as presented.
Second. Okay, we have a motion from Alderman Gallagher to approve item 1, second from Alderman Kelly. Is there anyone in the audience that wanted to speak in the hearing, and then we'll close the hearing and call a roll call?
Well, I think the motion is second after we close the hearing. Just to be technical.
Yeah, we got, yeah. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? Okay, hearing or seeing none, now is there a motion to close the public hearing? We got a motion from Alderman Flores, second from Alderman Wheeler. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The public hearing is closed. Now, we have a motion from Alderman Gallagher and a second from Alderman Kelly to approve item 1. Is there any other discussion about it? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Rhodes.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman
Yes.
Alderman
Yes.
Gallagher.
Yes.
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 Okay, and that motion carries.
Item number 2 is the subdivision application that will follow up with phase 1 of the PUD that we just approved. It is the access off of Starlanding, which will incorporate 19.211 acres of that said PUD. Again, minimum square footage of the lots is 20,000. Right now, it looks like the average lot size for this section is 22,310. Again, the heated square footage is set at 2,300 for the PUD, with a proposed build out between 25 and 2,600 for the heated. It does comply with all of our requirements. The only comment we did have is, as we stated before, Starlanding Road does have plans for expansion. And so we want to get them in contact with the designers and the consultants of that so that we have the proper right-of-way necessary for that widening when it comes. That was agreed upon by the developer and planning commission as well. With that in mind, we voted unanimously in favor of it.
Mr. Mayor, I vote that we adopt item number 2 on the planning agenda as presented.
Second. We have a motion on item 2 by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Wheeler. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Rhodes.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Our third item is, again, an amendment to an existing PUD, but it will be rezoning a portion of property to incorporate this into that PUD, so I guess we need to zone it here once again.
Second. Okay, we have a motion from Alderman Flores, second from Alderman Gallagher to open a public hearing for item 3. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Public hearing is now open regarding item 3. So if anyone in the audience would like to speak regarding this zoning change, please stand. You'll be acknowledged.
Okay, this amendment to the PUD is concerning Silo Square, PUD, which is going to be on the west side of Gallo between Goodman Road and Nail Road. There is 81 acres sitting to the north of the existing PUD. It actually is directly adjacent to Getwell Road and then carries a little west into the property. I think there's a boundary survey in the application that you can see online. It's not showing. Anyhow, what the proposal to do is to add one commercial out parcel along the frontage of Getwell Road. They are also proposing to add additional office space into Area A1 and add the farmer's market with the dog park into this area as well, which is a shift from where the farmer's market was at the south end. Additionally, they're adding 5 sections of the same lot sizes, the same square footage, and the same cottage homes that's already proposed throughout the development. So it's basically going to be an infill development of the existing design of the houses. You've got the conservation side, which is over off at the Tullahoma area with the trailway. This is now going to connect with that and do the half-acre lots with those minimum square footages. You have the cottages that have front load access, and you have the cottages that have rear load access. All of those will be incorporated into this 81 acres along with that dog park, the farmer's market, and the additional office space. It is compliant with the surrounding area. It is compliant with the comprehensive plan, which is calling for mixed use for this area. So with both of those in mind, the planning commission did vote unanimously for favor of amending it and adding this in.
Okay, so is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak regarding this change? Okay, hearing or seeing none, is there a motion? Is there a motion to close? Okay, we got a motion by Alderman Flores to close the public hearing. Second by Alderman Hoots. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Public hearing is now closed. Now is there a motion to approve item 3 on the planning agenda?
I make a motion that we approve item number 3 on the planning agenda as presented tonight.
Second.
We got a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion on the board? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Rhodes. Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman
Yes.
Yes.
Alderman Moore.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries.
I did have the one, did you want me to handle the Nail Road contract, or do you want to get that under the manager's report?
Go ahead and do it now while you're here.
Okay. We have an addendum to extend the service contract between the City of Southaven and Wagner Engineering concerning Nail Road extension. If you'll remember sometime back, it's one of our LPA projects, which is a cost-sharing effort we have with the DOT and the federal highway. This project we actually pulled off of construction monies so we could focus our monies on Getwell Road South at this time, and so we could distribute evenly with the rest of the counties. So our agreement was that we would get it designed and handled all the way down to what we call shelf ready, which means we can put it on the shelf, and when we grid it back out, it's ready for construction. Within that time period, we were not able to finish a few items on it, including environmental public meetings. Because of COVID, we were unable to have those meetings. We have office review submittal of maps and deeds, and our final submittal of plans and proposals to MDOT. This is at no extra cost to the city. Everything's already been paid and incorporated in. This is just a one-year extension to finalize these details so we can get it formalized with DOT and set it on the shelf and get ready for construction when and if we find it. So I have to get permission. I'm asking permission for the mayor to sign off on this extension of the contract.
So moved. This is for the extension that goes to.
This one, it doesn't go through too long. This one actually was a carryover from Elmore Suite. Yes.
Do we have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Gallagher? Is there any other discussion? And just to add to that, y'all heard me update before, with MPO funding, a lot of changes, limitations. We've had to really do some shifting with priorities. The Getwell South widening project is our #1 priority. This is the #1 in the county right now with the MPO funds, so we had to make some sacrifices. You know, Hernando, we were a good teammate a couple years ago with everybody joined and gave up some of their projects to allow Hernando to get the Macabell exchange on 269, which we all think that's huge. It's going to be huge for, you know, for Hernando, for the entire county, and help Southaven citizens too. So with that sacrifice, we had to give up Nail, but it's still on our plan. We're just going to move it back until funding comes in 2 years.
If it says it there, that's the one, and we agreed to a 1-year extension, because they think it's not gonna take that 2 years, so we didn't want to leave it that way.
So you need to revise it.
Yes.
Just approve it and revise it.
For the 12 months.
Can't really adjust that. Okay, is there any other discussion about that? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Rhodes.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Dean.
Yes.
Alderman Mays.
Yes.
Alderman Gilbert.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is the mayor's report. I just want to update a few things. Speaking of Getwell, we'll go ahead and talk about that first. The Getwell South Widening Project has been in process for 5 years now. We made that application in 2015, and that is to widen Getwell between Church Road and Starlanding Road. It's a desperate situation. It's a bottleneck there that's horrific. And so it has been approved, and it's in the right-of-way, final stages of right-of-way, pretty soon design right-of-way. So we hope to have a meeting with MDOT, who will be assisting with that in January. And then the latest update is we expect that to be under construction by mid-2021. So that's a big deal for the city. It's our #1. It's just, as far as looking at objectively looking at the traffic flows and the difference it'll make, it's tremendous. The question that would come up after, when 269 opened, it tremendously increased the traffic on Getwell, and that is a project that I understand the county has been working on with their NPO funding as well. So we're hoping that the county will work, with that as well to get that south part of it, from 269 up to Starlanding. So anyway, the good news, after 5 years, that should be underway. It should be under construction in 2020. Then moving on, fire station #5, y'all know on our capital improvement plan, fire station #5 is in that plan. It has been in the process of design with A2H, and it's my understanding that within the next 10 days, they're going to have that ready to be set up to go to bid. So then, we'll know the exact numbers on that, and I'll be able to go ahead and start moving forward with fire station #5. As we saw earlier in our meeting, that location is in the S curve on Starlanding Road, just west of Getwell. So that's been a long time coming. I know the city's been planning that for many, many years. It was delayed when the housing crisis happened because it halted development in that area. But now, as you see on our planning agenda tonight, with all the houses that are being built in that area, it's crucial that we get fire station #5. And again, we expect that we get fire station #5, that our class rating will go from a 3 to a 2, which is going to make us, if not the highest, I think it makes us one of 2 or 3. We're the highest rated fire station in the state of Mississippi. So that translates to many positives for our citizens. On a residential fire insurance rating, can't help some, but the bigger deal is on a commercial fire insurance rating. Going from one class to another saves a large amount of money in a commercial for commercial insurance, which again makes our city more attractive for development. Next, just a couple. Most of the projects that we have going, I can spend a whole lot of time with that. We have a lot of things going on. The park project, soccer, is on schedule. We did get the sod down. I would believe that we got it down soon enough to where we're going to have the plane service in the spring. We'll have a soccer season in the spring. The pavilion and bathrooms, offices, concessions. That facility is under construction on schedule, and the lighting was just tested last week, so the lights are up and are functional. So we're about ready to play soccer, like really expand soccer in our city, which is going to be tremendous for us. Alongside of that, with the capital improvement project, the turf project, and artificial turf and snow, they have not wasted any time there. I encourage everyone to take a ride through there. It really looks great. They have the playing surface down on complex A and B at A and C at Snow. B and D are in the near future. We expect that in February, all the surface of snow will be done. So they made great progress there. Greenbrook, the same thing. I think we got 2 fields in Greenbrook that already have the final surface on them, and then the subsurface work is being done on all the other fields too. So Greenbrook is on schedule as well. So that project will be huge for us. And again, just to remind everybody, it's not just about having turf. It's a business decision for the city. When you combine the lost revenues from a rainout and also the reduction in maintenance costs, it's about a $500 million turnaround for the city. So I believe the board made a great decision with that project. Street resurfacing, y'all know that we made an agreement with Lehman Roberts that they would bring all of their crews, not all their crews, they would give Southaven designated crews because many cities halted their street improvement because of the COVID lost revenue. Again, it's a good thing to be in Southaven because this board has been committed to infrastructure improvement in our streets. We spend a lot more money on streets than in the past, and that continues to go up. Our streets are getting in better condition, but with that agreement with Lehman Roberts, they agreed to do all of our streets in the fall if we would have it given a 1-year extension. And we did that, and the report tonight is they're almost done. They've done an enormous amount of streets. There's 2 streets that have to be what we call reclaimed, Rasco and College Road. We realized that the Lehman Roberts contract, that was not in there. So in February, in early 2021, but all the other streets, if the weather will cooperate, they're going to be done with all the streets on our 2021 list this year. So anyway, it's always nice, for someone to drive on a new street, and so I think that's an important commitment that our city's made, and that's the update. I'm happy about that. The 2020 recap every year, and I do that the first meeting in January, just to take a step and look back at all the things that happened over a year, and whether it be our personal life or our business life or our city, city work, you don't realize how many things happen in a year. COVID disrupted everybody's world. There's been a lot of crazy things that have happened in 2020. We all know that. But the good thing about my report tonight is with all the challenges, our people and our city stepped up. We were very resilient. We were able to move on. Had to make some sacrifices here and there financially, but our major projects, we've been able to get those done. So when I do that recap, the first board meeting in January, you're going to be amazed, how many things happened in 2020. So I'll have that update prepared for you and walk you through that then. But anyway, just tonight, I just want to let you know that that our team in Southaven has been extremely resilient. We've been through all the challenges. We've gotten a lot done for the city in 2020, so we should all be very happy about that as we wind the year up. A couple other little small, not small things, but not project related, just fun things for the city that really morale boosters, good for charity. Our Southern Lights project, last meeting I told you that y'all committed with the budget to funding additional displays and improving the lights to new LED lights. And the report is our citizens have really enjoyed that. Our attendance to that event has been more than ever in the 8 years that I've worked for the city. So we've already surpassed the amount of revenue that all of it goes to the charities. And last year the revenue was $42,000, and we've already passed that with 16 days left. So it's been a great event for us. Last thing, wow, who would have ever thought that we would have had to cancel our Christmas parade? It's been a tradition since the early 70s in Southaven, and thanks to Alderman Kelly, he came up with an idea to have a drive-through Christmas parade. And so let's give him a round of applause. when he first brought that to my attention, you know, my questions to him, and then as we started all talking about it, all the other questions were like, what is this? How's this going to work? So it's just amazing that Saturday night I was out there and watched Alderman Kelly directing it, and we had our police department put a float in it, utilities put a float in it. We had so many people at the last minute that, you know, put the floats together, and it was just a great event. I'm just telling you, it was really nice, and I stood there by the exit where Santa and Mrs. Claus were, and to see the kids rolling down their window waving Santa. I mean, what your goal was to put a smile on faces, you accomplished that, and it was just awesome to see the kids, you know, looking out the window waving Santa Claus, and with all the things that happened in 2020, not being able to have our traditional Christmas parade, it was just really a super event, and again, I just thank Alderman Kelly. That was a great idea, and I know you had to work the can off in a short amount of time, so I appreciate that. And that's all I have tonight. That's all on the mayor's report. Does anyone have any questions for me about any projects that are pending or about anything else?
Mayor, any chance of us getting some more of those snowflakes that we have on state line? Maybe double next year? I mean, I think it's a nice additive, and I don't know how expensive they are. I know that was a project you did, and it'd be nice to see one again.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And Whitney had a lot to do with that. I appreciate Whitney's help. Whitney does a great job helping us beautify our city. The answer to the question is, what we did on those is they have to have a specific power source, and so we're able to do that on the traffic signal mast arms. So I think we have them on all the masts. Don't we have them on all?
We do in the Weston District area. We have to, new poles we wanted to go on, and in the future we have to get retrofitted to get that plug there.
So it's just,
it would be nice just to have.
I do too.
I mean, 'cause I think it's asked to the city, something that people, appreciate.
Yeah, thank you for that, and I agree. And there is one thing tied to that that will help us add more. In our capital improvement plan, we have discussed, as y'all know, changing the lights on Main Street between Northwest Drive and Highway 51 to put decorative light poles, which that's what you got to do. You get the decorative poles and then you put those on there. If you travel to a lot of the cities in their downtown area that have the decorative poles, they'll put the snowflakes on every one of them. That's when it really looks good. When you look down the street, you see the whole street lit up. So that is our plan. The problem with that is it's about $300,000 to change the light poles in that area on Main Street. So with COVID and the adjustments, we backed that down the priority list, but that's still alive. And so I would just request that we keep that in mind, and let's try to move forward with that project when funding allows, and then we can add the snowflakes all down Main Street. I think that would bring a tremendous effect there. Same thing as we move on in other parts of the city, wherever you add the decorative poles, you can put the snowflakes. So just as future budgeting allows, I would hope that the city continues to do just what you're talking about. I think they look great too. And along with that, you know, we did go with the Reese Around Southaven project. The chamber helped with that. I've noticed that many citizens at their homes have done that as well, but we just thought it would look neat to just go, you know, simple, classy, just go with a green wreath and a red bow, and along Silo Square and May Boulevard, it looks really nice. And again, back to having decorative poles, you can do a lot more things when you add decorative lighting in your city. But anyway, I do thank the citizens and businesses for joining us in the chamber for helping promote the Reese Around Southaven. That's been something that's been really nice too. But thank you for saying that. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll move on. Next on our agenda is our personnel docket.
Mr. Mayor, move we approve the personnel docket as presented on the statement.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is our city attorney's legal update.
Couple items. First, just want to note that Deputy Court Clerk certificate we entered into the minutes of Corey Smith. No action, just a note for the code. Second, December 31st, at the last meeting, we did not declare that holiday in general governor's order, we declared January 1, So authorization for December 31st, the holiday.
Got a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries.
And then the last item is, we went to bid on, this came in late this afternoon, a little earlier this morning, next morning, and I called Wes Brown, and we got the bids back in for the soccer goals, and we only received one bid, and it was an amount of $103,814, which is over our estimate. So, and it was about BSN score, so press recommends that we reject all bids and go rebid it with Solution to dig again to see if we get a better price for the soccer goals for the soccer bids.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, next on our agenda is our utility bill adjustment docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the utility bill leak adjustment docket as presented.
Second. We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir. Standard requirements for energy, $7,000.
Well, I mean, if they're liable, they would pay for that. Are you familiar with that, Dan?
Know anything about that?
Ray Humphrey is not with us tonight. We can, or,
I think we should, I think we should make a motion. Power lines.
Did they not realize that they had cut the line?
Ray, we got a question in the meeting. I'm going to put you on speakerphone real quick. We're in the utility bill adjustment docket, and there's a question about a line that reportedly that Entergy cut, and so we want to know about that. Can I put you on speaker real quick? Okay. Okay. All right, we'll do it that way, and then we'll just give an update. Thank you very much. All right, bye. All right, so we're going to get, we do need to do that. Let's remove that from the docket. Let's get an update on all the details. So the motion can be made, please, to, is there anything, did y'all notice anything out?
I'll second all.
Okay. I just have a motion by Alderman Wheeler to approve the utility bill adjustment docket with the exclusion of the one item regarding sanitary requirements. Second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Who.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Miller.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. All right, next on the agenda are two claims dockets. Is there a motion to approve docket one?
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve claims docket number 1 in the amount of $2,818,822.79, including domain checks.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Who.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Miller.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. Is there a motion to approve docket 2?
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve claims docket number 2 in the amount of $15,649.53.
Second.
On docket 2, we have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Brooks. Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
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 That motion carries. Next on the agenda, is the purpose of determining the need for executive session. Is there a motion to determine the need for executive session?
So moved.
Got a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Kelly. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The need this evening is claims and litigation against the Southaven Police Department, sale and lease of city property, personnel in our police department and parks departments, and economic development. Is there a motion to declare executive session? So moved. Wow. Motion by everybody. Got a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Gallagher. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The mayor and board are now under executive session.
Cop didn't have any comments.